a salmon swimming in the ocean. You could be living for that upstream motion. You could be a sucker dying in a creek, back to the land in a couple of weeks. You could be a cedar rowing on the shoreline. Every year salmon like an ancient timeline, eating from the soil, drinking up the rain, standing through the seasons time and again.
An amazing thing is happening. The salmon, they're back. It's the fall of 2016. The salmon run is strong all along the BC coast. And Bowen Island? Well, we're getting our share. Day after day, week after week, we watch them arrive, showing their heads at the causeway and the falls. We are just amazed by their abundance, coming ashore from their hidden world at sea. Struggling against the current, we watch their incredible tenacity.
Go, buddy, go, go. Woohoo!
Only a few have survived their long journey out to the North Pacific and back. They are hunted throughout their lives by fish, seabirds, marine mammals, and fleets of fishing boats. Against those odds, they arrive. Even along Bowen shores, I see they're still not safe, preyed on by hungry seals just offshore and otters in the lagoon. We're lucky on Bowen. Our salmon run is so easy to view right there in Crippen Park. From Howe Sound, they swim right underneath the Causeway Bridge and into the lagoon of Terminal Creek. Many of the salmon spawn right there on the gravels at the causeway, completing what must be one of the shortest upstream journeys anywhere on the BC coast. Others move on through the lagoon to the falls where Terminal Creek tumbles to gravel beds. So who are these salmon? They are chum, one of several salmon species on our northwest coast. Chum are not the prize-fighting coho, nor the giant chinook, nor the tasty sockeye. Throughout the streams of Howe Sound, no salmon consistently returns in more abundance each fall. No salmon provides more food for the Squamish Valley bear, for Brackendale's eagles, or for our streamside forests. Chum truly are the keystone salmon of the streams of Howe Sound. So I head to the falls and causeway with my cameras to watch and record the ancient salmon dance that has gone on since time immemorial. Females, I learn, are distinctive with their streamlined shape and dark horizontal band. Males, on the other hand, have an arched back with irregular vertical stripes, and a hooked nose and canine teeth for fighting on the spawning grounds. I know that chum return from the ocean to lay their eggs in streambed gravels. And sure enough, right beside my camera, I watch a female excavate her nest. Time and time again, she sweeps. At times, she chases off other females that come too close to her nest. And everywhere, as the females dig, I watch the males jockey for position. It is really rough and tumble as the males fight for females using their dog-like teeth. And then, the life-giving moment. The female drops her eggs, and I watch the male shudder as he sprays his sperm to fertilize. Many of the eggs sink into the spaces within the gravels, their new home through the winter months to come. Unburied eggs are easy prey for the industrious dipper. But what really surprises me are the aggressive mallards, who hunt right among the salmon for streambed eggs. I find it very bittersweet that the chum come home to create life, but then so quickly die. Within days of spawning, both male and female are dead. In the ocean, where salmon live most of their lives, they are bright and silver-scaled. Nourished by nutrients from the ocean, they are prepared to return to their home streams and breed. But by the time they arrive at the causeway on Bowen, they've already changed into darker patterns that mark the beginning of their dying process. They use their reserves of stored energy, gained at sea, to fuel this nest building and mating. But they have stopped eating and quickly deplete themselves. Spent of energy, we watch them die on the spawning beds. The dying, in turn, feeds other life. Scavengers arrive, making our shores noisy with life. Some scavengers, like perch, in turn become prey to shorebirds, like herring and merganser. All in all, it is a great frenzy of feeding. Watching all of this, I realized that the nutrients that make up every chum, foraged from across the North Pacific, are brought home to fertilize Bowen's streams and estuaries, feeding plants and bugs that in turn feed others. These are our salmon shores and salmon forests, where carcasses, scavenged bits, and feces and urine of scavengers spread the nutrients, fertilizing beaches, streams, and forests, and all that lives in them. In the middle of December, I once again returned to the falls. But now, the creek seems strangely empty. The chum, which for so many weeks have so animated these waters and drawn so much life to our shores, are gone. I feel hollow. Here and there I find a decomposing carcass, but the stream seems lifeless. The causeway, too, is quiet. No chum, few people. But deep down, I know, the stream is not lifeless. I know that in just a few months, baby chum will hatch, attached to an egg sac that feeds them. For another month or so, they will remain protected inside the gravels. And when their egg sac is used up, the tiny chum will rise from the gravels to feed in the stream, first on microscopic plankton, and then, as they grow larger, insects as well. And then later in the spring, they'll head to the sea. There the young chum will school along our island's shore, and then head to the open waters of the Salish Sea. And so begins their 4 to 5 year ocean journey around the North Pacific. Meanwhile, throughout the winter and spring at the nearby fish hatchery in Crippen Park, volunteers of the Bowen Fish and Wildlife Club raise more salmon. So I drop by to see what's up. Chum eggs from salmon captured on the Squamish River are brought to the hatchery and nurtured with great care and attention, mimicking nature's conditions. In the spring, tiny chum will be released into the lagoon and island creeks, joining those from the stream gravels to feed and then swim to the sea. This great run of chum has breathed a vitality into this island home of mine that I've just not known before, and I hear others say just the same. And the chum have really opened my eyes to the vital role of our streams. They are salmon breeding grounds, and they are salmon nurseries. And when I step further back, I see more clearly that we do share our island with so many other creatures. Our forests are home to everything from deer and owls to the persistent slug. Our beaches are feeding grounds for schools of fish and shoreline birds. And our rocky shores host tide pools with a blizzard of just crazy life. I do want nature to remind me that our oceans are still vital, that our Salish Sea is still vital, that Howe sound is still vital, that our streams are still vital, and that nature is resilient if we just give it a chance. So I look forward to next autumn and the autumn after that. Who knows how many salmon will return? But whatever salmon return, they will be here to do their ancient salmon dance to their own ancient rhythm. And I will be waiting for them.
You got to know how to keep the cycle going, keep the cycle going. If you decide that you're gonna eat salmon, you got to know how to keep the cycle going, keep the cycle going. You could be a bear cub learning how to fish. You could say that salmon is your favorite.